All right, let's go ahead and start unwrapping some of these pieces. One of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to create a material, and we're going to name that material mirrored UVs. And we'll get that just kind of out of the way right now, and I'll show you why we do that. Um, so let's go ahead and just create a standard material, and let's call it mirror UVs. And let's choose kind of a bright green color, something like that. And let's focus here on our blade. Let's close the material editor for right now. So looks like we had some turbo smooths and quad chamfers just turned off, so I'm going to go ahead and delete those. And I'm going to go to my utilities icon here. I'm going to reset our X forms, and that just kind of clears up any issues that might be, any history that's kind of attached to this piece. We'll just clear it up with that. So I'm going to collapse that into an editable poly. And next step is we need to decide what we're going to mirror for our UVs. So we're probably just going to unwrap the face of this, right? And then mirror those UVs over onto this side just so we can maximize our texture space. So knowing that, let's go over to this side and let's go ahead and let's turn on bi-angle, and it should be a value of 45 degrees. And that'll allow us to select just the faces right here, and let's see if it grabbed everything over here. So we just have these over here too. So I'm going to turn bi-angle off and just select the faces it missed. And I think, yeah, it looks like we didn't get this one in here. So I'll go ahead and select that. And let's go ahead and detach that. So now it's a separate object, and I'm going to kind of move it just out here. Double check that we didn't miss any faces. Okay, undo that just to where it's back in its state. And let's go open up our material editor, and here's that material that I created earlier. We're going to map that to that detached piece, and that just kind of tells us that we're going to basically duplicate these faces over and replace these faces. So it's just kind of a little mental note to have that there. And let's go ahead and start unwrapping this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and just create an unwrap modifier on here. And I'm going to select all these faces and just do a flatten mapping. And we're left with these pieces here. So let's go ahead and focus on the blade first. Alright. And I think what I'll do too, I want to break this piece out, and we'll make this its own separate piece. So I'm going to grab all the faces in here. Maybe we'll just grab it like this, so we'll select all these faces. All the way up to there. Let's go ahead and exit our UV editor real quick. And there should be an option to grow selection. Did we lose our selection when we exited? I think we did. Oh, shoot. Okay. Alright, so here's another thing too. Sometimes when you click on here, it doesn't show the faces being selected. So if you hit F2, it should clear that up. Not sure what causes that, but sometimes that happens. So we're just going to go in here and select these faces again. And then we'll click grow. So we should just have all those interfaces selected now. Let's go back into our UV editor and let's maximize that. And let's go ahead and break it, and let's pull that up. And it looks like we have some pieces down here. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck rescale and pack together, just so we have those pieces kind of all together now. And it looks like I didn't want to attach those there. So let's see if we can, let's just see if we can weld these together. So I'm going to go into edge mode, and I'm going to weld here. So Shift S, and then I'm just going to keep welding like that. And that is really not welding like I want it to. Now, easy solution for this is let's just go into face mode. Let's grab all these, and we'll do a quick planar projection. It's going to look bad at first, but then we can just click quick peel, and that'll fix our UVs there. And not quite ready to work on this piece, so we'll just go ahead and pull it off to the side for right now. Let's pull down the pieces we know are fine. So this is the top of our sword or blade. It's a little long, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, let's go to element mode here, I'm going to select these faces and break them, and then just put it below like that. Alright, and then this is the bottom, yeah, this is the bottom of our blade. Let's go ahead and select that, and actually I want to double check and make sure, yeah, let's see, here is it? Yeah, it is one piece. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and break that sort of in the middle as well. So we'll break that. And this is such a thin piece, I'm just going to have to move it like that. Let's move those down. And then what do we have here? That's a part of the blade. We want to connect that. So like it belongs right there. So let's go into edge mode. Hit Shift S to weld. And there's that piece. Okay, and then we have this piece right here. And that looks like it belongs right there. Yeah. Okay. So one of the things is it's kind of a little out of whack. We want this to be straight. So we can use text tools. There's a nice little feature in here. If we click on an edge, we want to say this edge, we want to make this edge aligned horizontally based on our selection. So we can just click align, and that just goes ahead and aligns that UV shell for us. It's kind of nice. So let's go ahead and pull that guy down. And we've got this piece here too. And I think I will just, let's go into vertex mode here, and I'm going to straighten up some of these edges. So we can select these edges and then come up here to align vertical. Just click that button, and that'll align it for us. And the reason we're doing that is when we bake our normal map on to these UVs, it's best to have this edge as straight as possible, otherwise you get kind of a stair stepping. So if I undo this real quick and we look, and undo a few more steps, kind of see the edge right here. See how it kind of steps up. That edge detail would be apparent in our normal map, so we just want to eliminate that by making it a straight edge. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and let's just turn on our checkerboard pattern too, see how our resolution or how our texture is being applied. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to here. Let's go into face mode here, and I'm going to detach the tip of the blade because we're going to want to straighten this piece out, and because this kind of has some curve information on it, we just want to break it away from that piece. So I'm going to break that, And just like we did with the other piece, I'm going to select one of these edges. Let's go ahead and maximize. I really wish you could, when you shrank the window, it would just shrink based on your last viewing angle, but that's not the case. Alright, so this is still a little jaggy on top, so I'm going to grab, let's go into vertex here and grab all these vertices up here and just click that button. That straightens it out. And we might want to just try that here to get that straight vertically. Alright. So we got this piece here, and we got to straighten this now. So let's get this as straight as we can by eye. So we'll bring this up and just kind of roughly straighten it at first. I'd have to say UVing for games is probably the more technical UVing you'll ever come across. If you're doing it for like movies and stuff, it's not as important to get your UVs as aligned like this. So let's see, we still got this bottom piece here. Let's go ahead and fix that too. And I feel like even if we get these kind of in the ballpark, we're still going to have to readjust them again. That's just the nature of this. That could come up a little bit. Alright, so something about like that. And then I'm going to go into edge mode, and I'm going to double click this edge, which makes it an edge loop. And let's come all the way down here and deselect that, and I'm going to click align horizontally. And that didn't do quite what I wanted. I'm going to pull that up a little bit. And then we're going to grab this piece, do the same thing. I'll pull it up a little bit. And let's grab this edge here. Let's go double check to look over here. That's fine. And we'll click that button, pull it up a little bit, and do the same here. Pull it up a little bit. How many times can I say pull it up a little bit? Alright. So we have something like that. I want to double check here. What does this belong to? Oh. Let's not pull that up quite as much as I said to pull it up. Yeah, leave it about where it is there. Okay. So one last thing, let's go ahead and let's go into vertex. Didn't have to exit there. And let's straighten these out vertically. Okay. So we're left with something like that. And let's go ahead and double check our UV pattern. Could scale this up a little bit. Just want to see. Yeah, it should be fine. Alright, so then we got this piece up here we got to concentrate on. So let's grab that. And let's grab one of these edges real quick. Let's grab maybe that edge and align. And let's maximize our viewport. And this one has a little bit of a taper to it, so it might be a little challenging trying to align these perfectly. But we're going to try our best here. So let's go ahead and let's just try doing this without messing with roughly aligning them at first like we did with the last piece. So I'm going to go ahead and deselect these edges. Let's get out of that mode and just select this mode. It's a little bit of lag as I'm pulling from left to right in this UV editor. It's interesting. Okay, I'll go ahead and click align horizontally. I'm going to pull this, exaggerate pulling that up a little bit. And then we'll grab this. That should be fine. And we'll grab all the way up to there. Click align. And we'll pull that piece up too. Then we'll come down here. Let's deselect all these up here. Align that. And let's pull that down. And let's grab this edge all the way up to here. And click align. And I'll pull that down here like so. Then I'm going to grab all of this and scale vertically down. And that's really weird. I'm getting this issue where it wants to bounce back. And the way I've resolved that in the past, if you get this issue, is just convert this to an editable poly and then throw another unwrap modifier on there. I don't know why that fixes it, but should fix it. We'll find out. Yep, fixed it. Alright, so let's get this. These need to be scaled out. I'm going to actually go ahead and, so we could just do that. Same for this. And I'm going to double check the way those look. And these actually need to be scaled in more. So let's go ahead and go into edge mode. Select this one and this one and this one. And let's scale it in to about there. Let's double check this. Alright. Let's go into vertex now. Select these verts in here and do a relax by face angle. And just looking at this, we might want to scale these back out to match that. Yeah. So I'm going to grab this and this. Let's okay, make sure we're not selecting things we don't need. Okay. Come on, Max. Play nice. Let's scale this out a little bit to where that's straight. And then this piece right here, let me see what that is. That's the end. That's the end of this piece right here and there. So I might grab just that edge and pull it back like that. Let's check our checkerboard again. We're going to get a little distortion in there, that's fine. The main thing is we'll have a nice normal map baked to these edges up here. Alright, so that should be all the pieces. Let's double check. And it should be all of our pieces. So one thing also is we want to click rescale elements, and that's basically just going to make a uniform texture resolution for all of our UV shells. So I'll go ahead and take a break here, and then we'll go ahead and unwrap another piece. Alright, let's continue on with the unwrapping. We're done with this piece, so I'm going to go ahead and convert it to an edible poly. And jump out of isolation mode. And let's focus on this piece here. Let's go ahead and isolate it. And we know that this is symmetrical to this, so we can detach this piece. So I'll go ahead into element mode here, detach that, and let's put our material on that piece. And then we'll just go back into isolation here with just the one piece. And we've got these interfaces we don't need, so we'll go ahead and select those and delete them. And let's reset its X forms first. And convert to edible poly. And then we'll throw an unwrap modifier on here. And let's select all these faces. Go up to tool or mapping, flatten mapping. And we have these pieces here. I'm going to go ahead and maximize this. And let's go into element mode. And I'm going to rotate this so it's facing straight up and down. And we've got a little bit of an issue with these edges not being completely straight. So let's go into vertex. Let's uncheck element mode. And also make sure we're in vertex mode. And select those verts and align vertically. And let's align this one up here horizontally because it was a little wonky. Let's go ahead and just do those just to make sure. Okay, that should be good. And we'll just go through this piece and straighten it up. So I think we can actually work out of just edge mode and do this too. Yeah, it works in edge mode too. And I used to have a hotkey map to this, so I didn't have to go, back and forth so much, but for some reason it's not working. Select these edges, do that, and the same for that. And let's go ahead and just throw our checkerboard on here and double check that everything looks alright. Looks pretty good. A little bit of distortion in here, but that's just from straightening those, but it won't be apparent. So we'll go ahead and close that window, convert this to an edible poly. Let's move on to the next piece. So we've got this piece here and this piece back here. They're both the same, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this piece, throw our material on there, and let's go ahead and isolate this piece. Let's reset its X forms, convert it to an edible poly. And we've got these faces back here we don't need, so let's go ahead and remove those. And let's throw an unwrap modifier on here. Select all the faces and flatten map. Okay. So this piece is good to go. We can just move it down. We've got some issues with this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn wireframe off and we can see all of our seams. So I'm going to pick a seam Let's pick a seam right here, make a break. And then let's weld these other ones together. So Shift S will do that. Okay, and we're left with this big piece right here like that. And so what I'm going to do is go into element mode and straighten from selection. And let's go ahead and check. It's a little distorted. I'm going to see if I can, see if I say relax until flat. Click that a couple times and then do a straighten on it again. Oop, come on, Max. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a little distortion, but that's okay. It's better to have this straight than and have a little distortion than have bad edges. So we'll go ahead and close that, convert it to edible poly. That piece is finished. And one other thing, so we've got this piece here, and I was looking at it, and you can see that it's not quite aligned with these pieces. So what I'd like to do is let's go ahead and unhide. Let's just go into our layers and unhide our high poly mesh temporarily. And let's select the low poly blade guard and high poly blade guard, and then we'll select these two trim pieces. And let's go into isolation mode. And let's go into a front view. And this kind of shows it a little better. You can see that it's not quite lining up. Let's see how close we can actually, maybe we can just kind of move it. Yeah, it looks like we're going to need to scale it a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and uniform scale it up a little bit and see if that's enough. Yeah, that should be enough to just kind of get that piece to fit in there right. And it's pretty interesting. When I was building this piece in Photoshop, I had no clue at the time that this was like kind of the profile we were going to use. But yet it still kind of lines up with that piece. Interesting. So, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and stop the video here, and then in the next videos, we're going to continue on unwrapping the other pieces.